Good morning, everyone. All right, let's see here. Here's me. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need this bucket this morning. This is for evening time. We have an extra bucket for Maverick. What? What do you want? Because he gets so excited about his food that you can hardly get in his stall without getting, well, I'm not as stable on my feet right now as I used to be, so I just don't take chances. How's that? Yeah, okay. Part of parental love, part 4. There's one thing out there that's being taught by Christians, any other religion just about as well, is that God, when you have bad times, you're going through trials and all that, God's testing you. See how well you do. That God is a... Hey. Guys, what was that? What is it? What are you fighting over? A piece of donkey poop? Well, dear me, I've seen it all now. And God is a vengeful, jealous, mean dude. You're going to get it. Oh, yeah. It's not possible, you guys. You can't have it both ways. We can't say, and it is in the Bible, that God, number one, when he created everything in the 6 days, 6 evolutionary periods, 6 days of creation, he said at the end, everything's good. All's good. Woo! Yippee. Everything's good. He didn't say, that's good. That's really good. Now let's see how they do with the bad stuff. Never. That was never God's intention. And neither is that any intention of a good parent. To lay things in a child's life where they're testing them to see how well they're going to do through something the parents did, that is not perfect for the child. Or, so parents who beat their kids, for example, sexually abuse them, let them starve, that's a test from God to see how well these children will do with that? And if they come out on the other side, yippee? Okay, I'm sorry. How does that make sense? And as I said, people can't have it both ways. I'm very, that gets me going. Because I don't like, as a parent myself, to be accused of, well, if you would have, well, if you didn't, well, if you would have made a different decision there, or if you would have paid more attention here, often over things I had no control over when it came to the life of my children. I didn't. I really didn't. Makes me mad. And I can't imagine how upset, really hurt God feels, our Father in heaven, when people say, that must have been a test from God. And if you make it through it, then you become so much stronger. I'm not saying that if you go through trials and you kind of look at it and go, okay, what happened? How do I get out of this? And you do, that's a big plus for you, and if you spiritually, you grow. But the thing is that has nothing to do with God. We can't have it, as I say, both ways. Saying it's an all-loving, unchanging, omnipotent, omniscient God, and then we're saying, oh, but. Do you know why God is a jealous God? Why that is in the Bible? You know the first 2 commandments? Okay. Jealousy for God is something different. Okay, it's not the same as we here have going. God is hurt and upset, per se, has to turn away when we decide to love something more than Him. Acknowledge something that we're so enamored with, like a trend, like a purse, or a person, above Him. Our love, from how we understand what parental love is, okay? Our love, first and foremost, should be for God. Because without Him, without the creation, of the principles of creation and the principles of love, which, if anyone out there who sees this, if you're honest, if you have really experienced, right, love for a child, the first child, the second child, the third child, the fourth child, and it never changed. Oh my gosh, husband and wife, we did this. This is our little creation. And you just, every time I see a baby, a newborn boy baby, I cry. I start to cry. I feel so much joy. My whole body is reacting right now, just with the image that I have. There's so much joy within me for this little newborn baby. And the first thing I always do is welcome. Welcome to this world. I bless you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Welcome to this earth, little one. Welcome. If you have experienced that kind of love as a parent, not just with your own children, but you experience it with others, it is always God, the people, and I. It is not just God and I. God, the people, and I. Then you start to understand, my God is a jealous God. I'm sure it has happened to me, and it has happened to others, where your children come home for one reason or another, especially when they're teenagers, and they spend more time at someone else's house and suddenly refer to them as mommy and daddy, and you're going, excuse me? Right? And here you go, you just kind of, you can't, what are you going to do? That's not your mom and dad, I am! Right? Yet they do it anyway. Oh, why is that? I guess. I know myself. I have rules. I had rules for my children. They didn't always like the rules. So they go someplace else where these rules don't exist. And that becomes very attractive to them. I've called these people, said, please send my child home. Please send my child home. And they wouldn't. I had other ways. Where they ended up home very quickly. Anyway, as I said, until 18. So now, that's the same for God. Yeah, would I be jealous over that? Well, number one, what a slap in my face as a parent whose children do that or did that. And I know it's as I said, it's just the peer pressure out there, when people don't work together, everyone knew I'm not a bad mother or anything like that. Yet, they still, because they were so enamored with my children, right, didn't realize how that must hurt me. Even after I would call them and say, hey, it's the same for God. That's why our God is a jealous God. We should remember that when we suddenly decide that a video game is more important than God. Or as I said, some other trend. Or our own selfish desires over wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. Oh my gosh, Everybody knows in their own life what kind of idols you have produced for yourself to feel better instead of God. So, there it is. Again, no, God has nothing to do with evil. It was never created. A parent would never, on purpose, create evil around their home to hurt their children. What makes people think that, or pastors, or whoever out there who spreads nonsense like that God would do that as our ultimate parent? What a silly thing. So here, well then how? Well, things that happen to us that are not, we're not, that hurt us. Where we get into the dumps, depressed, anxieties, this and that, and I don't know what, okay? Comes through our behavior, decisions that we have made, especially as adults. Children sometimes, well, okay. But as adults, the decisions that we have made and the consequences. And it isn't just with the individual. I think we see that right now in the news, if anybody has been watching on what's happening around the world right now, because of something our country did and the consequences that are going to come with that. Now, who are you going to blame for that? Who are you going to blame? Right? Who are you going to blame? I'm just using it as an example. It's not like I have any say over any of that. Okay? So it starts with us as individuals on the choices that we make, decisions that we make. Then it's the community. What is the community as a whole? What decisions are they making? Then it goes out into the nation. What is the nation together? What decisions are they making? What's the behavior in that nation? And then it spreads out to the world. So if the decisions are made under the guidance of God, the Bible, the divine principle, and Jesus, oh heck, he's vitally available, and the angels that are working on with them, and the good spirits that are also there for you. If decisions are being made against the Ten Commandments and the Lord's Prayer, then guess what the consequences are? Right. So who's to blame? Oh, let's blame Satan. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. And another way, to not take responsibility. So we just decide to make up things where then we completely disregard the parental absolute love that God has for us and decide that we're going to make up things like vampires and fairies and unicorns and other gods, you know, like the Greek and the Normans and the Egyptian gods and I don't know what, you know, and even though everybody knows they're myths, Buddha is another one. I could name a few more, but let's leave it at that. I was struck as a kid. I saw a picture one time of one of the Hindu gods, deities, with a bazillion arms. And I'm going, whoa, well, that'll never happen. That never existed. Ain't no possible. Well, it's just, I don't care what it is. It doesn't exist. Okay? Yeah, I was a kid. I knew that very well. And yet, how many people are still following that kind of stuff? That's amazing to me. Because if you read the Bible properly, you also know that Jesus sent out all of his 12 disciples plus many more into the world to start teaching, preaching the one God. That one. Okay? So, no country has any excuses to not know God. Oh my gosh, you're judgmental and you're persecuting them and this and that. And, yeah, that's exactly what my children didn't like. When I would tell them, no, you're not going to do this because that's bad for you. No, you're not going to do that either because that's going to get you on the wrong path for the rest of your life. They didn't like that either. And went ahead and did whatever they wanted sometimes anyway. So there it is. God's letting us know, and it is in the Old Testament, where Moses went not just once, but twice up on top of that mountain and did 40 days of fasting. Holy cannoli. That's a lot of fasting, guys. That's good, I think. Whew. You know what? To get those 10 commandments, which God didn't want to give, but had to end up saying, oh my gosh, they're being derailed. I'm going to have to give them some rules here. Just some fundamental rules that are within the principles of love. Probably just about killed Moses when you think about it. So, twice, you have to do it twice. So, God said something. God realized, oh, my children what are they doing suddenly here? And gave them guidance. Good guidance. Guidance, if everyone were to follow, right? Everyone were to follow. So, I'm not talking here just, oh, well, okay, so all religions are bad out there, this and that. Well, yeah. Tell me of one good religion out there that hasn't caused havoc and destruction for one or the other people, including Christians. Tell me. I'm listening. Oh, so then again, also maybe, God just doesn't exist. Well, we already had that. My first chapter explains, don't go there. Don't, please, don't, that's the silliest thing, to believe that. So God has given us guidance, plenty of it, but never in the form of testing and trials, where we're going to be in the dumps, this and that, to, then we have to prove ourselves. God doesn't do that, and no, as a heavenly parent. And neither would any good parent in this world do that to their own children. So, makes sense? Well, it makes perfect sense to me. I don't understand how people don't get that. And I don't understand on how people really, really learn in theology and I don't know what else, don't get that. And continuously harp around on how evil, how Satan is the root of all evil. Okay, all right. I mean, you have a point there, but when it comes down to it, we're the ones who have to say no. Or if we're unfamiliar with certain things and happen to just step into that puddle, what do? You get your foot out, you dry up, and then you start looking looking a little better when you walk around on the ground, right? If you don't want to step in the puddle. Some people choose to do so repeatedly. Don't seem to learn at all times. So it's not God who's doing that. It is not our heavenly parent. Neither would any other parent do that. It is our own choices. But in children, it often is curiosity, discovery. That's why I shared that one video this morning with that dad. It says, one thing you never, ever do, right? put your baby down because we'll start crying. And you never, ever, 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 ever leave the room. Right? That's one reason I shared that. That's parental love. And enjoy running after your children while they're discovering the world. Put your phone down, turn the TV off, and, and just skedaddle after them. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It is so exhausting, but it is also so much fun. Yes. So, that's what I wanted to say. Part 4 today. Parental love. No. God will never test you in the negative, in the realms of evil, to see how you do with it. Because our Father in heaven, our heavenly parent, never created evil. Had nothing to do with that. Freedom of will comes with consequences. We all know that as parents when you have teenagers who eventually want to go and be out there with their friends. Just not all you can do is go, oh my gosh, I hope. Right? That's how God feels about us as well. I hope. Yeah. Right, men? Yes. Yeah. And the best thing is, as I said, I don't know. I had to come as a human being, as a parent, with as much parental love as I have been able to muster up and grow within myself, with God's love as well, for all, not just myself and I and Irene, or whatever that's called, but with the people, God, the people, and I, is that, yes, over all this time that humankind has existed, and how society, civilizations have evolved, there are beasts among us, absolute beasts. How to rehabilitate them back to the heavenly parental love? I've only come up with one solution. That the ones of us who are still there, we have to become stronger. And the one thing I found is you never give in when it comes to your own love for God. Your own, and realizing who that parent is. He is and has the parental love of a 100% unchanging, omniscient, and omnipotent being who cares for all of us, including the beasts. I think the beasts slowly will start to change and get restored when the ones, us, who know, try to know, and are committing to a proper good life, where we know our limits, where we know where not to go, where we know on how not to talk or act, we become stronger. And the amazing thing is that, sometimes when people come around and they see, they want to do better too. So it's a start, especially right now. The chicken's out there. Okay, they're ready. All right, so, I gotta move this back. Jake, come on. Let's see how they're everywhere. that's what I have to teach today about parental love. God's love and blessings always. And surely there'll be, maybe I'll go into chapter 3, which will be conjugal love. Okay. God's love and blessings always. Now we'll talk to y'all another time.